the declaration of Abu Ubaidah, the spokesperson of Al-Qassam, about the martyrdom of MahmoodOD. Hamas, they did not say that Al-Dayf was assassinated. Israel said they killed him back in July. Some figures in Hamas denied from Hamas abroad. And they recently, Hamas published a video, Al Jazeera published a video for Al-Qassam brigades when they were actually preparing for Al-Aqsa flood that showed MahmoodOD. That was clearly either before the attack happened or sometime close to that period. But today Hamas declared that he was assassinated alongside other figures in the Al-Qassam brigade. So he's the commander-in-chief, but other figures were assassinated as well. They did not specify the time exactly or the location. The other one was Marwan Isa, who is his deputy. Another person is called Ra'id Thabit, who is in charge of Manpower and Al-Qassam brigades. Another one was called Rafi' Salama, the Khan Yunis brigade commander, and Ayman Nofal, the senior commander of the Central Province, Ahmad al-Ghandour, the senior commander of the Northern Province, and another person called Ghazi Abu Tma'a, who is the main person when it comes to weapons in Al-Qassam brigades. Why did they declare it now? Well, some of them were declared before, to be fair, but Al-Qassam brigades decided to declare it now because this is now during the ceasefire, de-escalation. They haven't really published any details, but we saw them having several funerals for some of their figures who were assassinated or martyred, to be more accurate, during the genocide campaign of Israel in Gaza. And now they've declared that all of these people have been martyred. And Abu Ubaidah made some interesting notes when it comes to their martyrdom. He said that the martyrdom of the leaders will not weaken the resistance and the Qassam brigades, pointing out that this only increased the resistance, steadfastness, and strength. He also added that the Al-Qassam brigade system did not experience leadership vacuum even for 1 hour, pointing out that the Mujahideen fought more and more valiantly, and their motivation to fight increased even more, as we fight based on belief, and the leader is followed by 1,000 leaders. Now, this was proven on the ground, because if Israel, like they said, killed him in July, assuming that that's correct, well, some of the most intense attacks on the genocide terrorists inside of Gaza, the child murderers in Gaza, they happened in recent months. Just a few days back, Al-Qassam brigades, they released videos of them having what they called the traps of death in Beit Hanun. And Israel confirmed that over 50 of their soldiers were killed in what they called the general's plan in the north. But in Beit Hanun specifically, the week leading to the ceasefire implementation, it witnessed some of the biggest attacks on Israel. And again, Beit Hanun is the closest city to the Israeli borders to the north. And it was the city that was destroyed the earliest during this genocide. Israel had destroyed Beit Hanun ever since October 2023, November 2023, with their intense bombs on civilian houses. So that means that, well, we've had continued attacks from the resistance against Israel, even following the assassination of these figures. A couple of things that are important here. Number one, these, of course, are not all of the Hamas or Al-Qassam brigades leaders inside of Gaza. Secondly, the fact that they have been replaced has already been proven, because the Al-Qassam brigades, even the United States of America, Blinken himself said that Hamas already gained 15,000 more soldiers. Some reports from the United States said that they managed to bring their manpower to a higher level than what it was, and other estimates to the same level that it was on the 7th of October. All of these things indicate that Israel has no way out, really, when it comes to assassinating leaders. Talking about people who put themselves on the front lines. They sacrifice with themselves and with their families. Many of their families were killed, like Ismail Haniyeh when he was assassinated in Tehran. 73 members of his family were killed just in the recent genocide. Some of these people previously assassinated, and also the main thing is all of them are descendants of victims of the 1948 Nakba, when the entity of terror, the Zionist entity, established what they labeled as Israel and expelled people from their homes. And one of these people was Muhammad al-Dayf himself, like all of the Hamas leaders. It's important to note that. And the most important thing to note here as well is that by having all of these sacrifices, Hamas is now the movement in Palestine that has sacrificed the most of its manpower for the sake of Palestine. No other movement had so many people and so many leaders killed in such a short period for the sake of Palestine. And Al-Qassam brigades also haven't declared the levels of martyrs when it comes to the fighters, by the way, because at the end of the day we could have seen them going on and moving on and on when it comes to attacking Israel. So again, massive blows to Israel, and the fact that after Israel assassinated al-Dayf and the Al-Qassam brigades, they continued alongside the other resistance movements. All of these things, Israel cannot comprehend them. As a matter of fact, many other people cannot comprehend them. I mean, what the Palestinians faced in the past 15 months in Gaza would make countries kneel down. Many countries gave up and surrendered when they were hit with massive blows, even when you compare them to the level of Gaza, they were much smaller, right? Other countries surrendering once they get really big blows previously in history. But the Palestinians inside of Gaza, you're talking about the descendants of the Nakba survivors, people who know what they're dealing with. And Hamas as a movement, they studied Israel very well at a military, political, and societal level, their psyche, their origins, the way they think. And that made them very strong and resilient against Israel.